Christian Horner is reflecting on his titanic tussle with Toto Wolff from 2021, while AlphaTauri look at their experienced plus inexperienced driver setup and think that is the best way to go for that battle in the middle of the pack. Yes, here at GPFans, we're bringing you all of the news from the world of Formula One, and to stay up to date with every single bit that we produce, just hit the subscribe button down below, or of course get even more headlines on gpfans.com or GPFans Global on Twitter and Instagram. But now, let's get right into the nitty-gritty of those all-important Formula One headlines. Christian Horner has labelled his Mercedes counterpart Toto Wolff a different kind of animal after clashing in the war of words and minds during the 2021 campaign. As engrossing as the battle between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen was on track during last season's heated championship battle, equally entertaining was the scrap off it between the two team principals, Wolff and Horner, with a war of words that sometimes pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable to say in the off-track rivalry. The duo eventually shook hands before the final race of the season, but not before attacking and counter-attacking each other all season long, and the Red Bull boss Horner had to concede this off-season that Wolff was a different kind of beast when it comes to the mental chicanery of the title challenge. When we, Red Bull, fought with Sebastian Vettel against Fernando Alonso for the World Championship in 2012, Stefano Domenicali was Ferrari's team principal, reflected Horner in an interview with Formula 1 magazine. The competition at the time was of a different, let me say, gentleman's level. This last season has been intense both on and off the track. I think Toto plays it differently. He's a different kind of animal. Do I like it? No. Is it part of the sport? Yes, said Horner. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I have a great love for the sport. I grew up in this industry, and I think what you do on the track is the most important thing that matters. The Red Bull boss also believes that despite the talk around the paddock of the new aerodynamic regulations coming into effect in 2022 levelling the playing field in Formula One next season, that the usual frontrunners will rise to the top in next year's title battle. All the teams think they have a great car in 2022. We will find out in Bahrain. We have a great team. There's no reason to believe we won't have a competitive car. I have every confidence in it. But the best teams will still be at the front, the worst at the back. There will be a split as always. That will not change with the new cars. Now, Horner hasn't outright said that it will be Red Bull, Mercedes that will be leading the pack. And if you take his words literally, he is just saying that some teams will be good and others won't be as good as those in the front of the pack. But I think we all know what he's saying about the 2022 challenge and who will be challenging for that title next year. Elsewhere, AlphaTauri team principal Franz Tost has backed his team's driver lineup model by insisting that any team starting in F1 with 2 kids on the grid will have no chance in the sport. The Red Bull Racing sister team has been a proving ground for many of the Red Bull juniors since taking over from Minardi on the grid in 2006, with a constant stream of young, talented drivers being given the chance to strut their stuff in the premier class of motorsport in the Toro Rosso / AlphaTauri colours. But in the last few years, experienced drivers such as Danny Kvyat and current driver Pierre Gasly have seen their services retained for longer than expected to help be a guide to other young drivers coming into the team. Tost believes, in perhaps a shot at Haas, that having an experienced driver in their ranks is imperative to preventing frustration and failure in Formula One. Nowadays in Formula One, if you drive with 2 inexperienced drivers, you have a really big challenge, and the Constructors' Championship, you will immediately be in the back. There's no chance with 2 kids to be in the midfield or at the front because the field is far too competitive. It's too strong. If you look at the qualifying times, it's hundredths of a second. I think in Saudi Arabia, Pierre was 0.087 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, which is 78 centimetres or whatever. There were 2 positions. Then, if you have a young driver, an inexperienced one, we're talking about tenths, not about thousandths. I think that with the combination of one experienced driver, and then if there's a very highly skilled young driver, AlphaTauri is always in a position and ready to educate the young driver. And it seems to be working well for AlphaTauri, who will be hoping that Yuki Tsunoda will be able to make the step up alongside Gasly in his second season in the sport. while the French driver looks to continue his impressive outings for the constructor, where he showed that surely he's too good to lose his place on the grid to yet another young talent coming up through the ranks. There's plenty more on GPFans.com as well to get your teeth into, including Damon Hill saying that Lewis Hamilton won't be quitting Formula 1 as that 8th title is just too tempting for the British driver, and Johnny Herbert saying that Hamilton won't want Michael Massey as the race director if he comes back to Formula 1 next year. As I say, those on GPFans.com. GPFans Global on Twitter and Instagram is where to find us on social media for the latest breaking news. And of course, as always, hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with all that we produce here at the channel.